So I think sometimes like when we are deep rooted in our like male centeredness, it's important to kind of zoom out a little bit and understand like not everything has to be tied back to a man, and sometimes you can just give women their flowers and say that women are some wise. Women do teach children. They do have understanding and empathy. They're often the ones who are counseling. We're often in service roles. Like that's just a part of what we do, right? But anyways, or what we've been conditioned to do.
I would just like to say what was described earlier about women's level of awareness sounded like a child walking aimlessly through the street. Women, by default of being a woman and carrying a vagina everywhere we go, we have to be aware of our surroundings in general. Otherwise, we would be in trouble everywhere we went. We have to be aware of what is going on, who is around us, how close people are, what we have, how fast we're walking. Don't walk too close to the door. Don't pass through this place because you could get snatched somewhere. Like, we have to have a certain level of awareness. However, what I will say is men have a different level of awareness because biologically their brains work different than us. So they see things that we do not see, and that I agree with. But women, we in theory would love to turn our brains off when we are with our men and just go through the world as if everything is everything and nothing will happen to us because that man got us. But it is by reflex alone that we are just aware of things because we have to be to protect, like just literally for survival. I do not want that to be put out there as if women just don't be thinking about nothing and men just protect us from everything. And I don't want to discredit men. And I do not, and I want to acknowledge the biological difference in our brains alone. There's a part of their brain that works different than us in that way. But women are absolutely aware of their surroundings and are able to protect themselves on a certain level.
Okay,
Bo,
can
do
I?
you know the number one way men will protect women? It's via our restraint. That's one of the biggest ways we protect y'all. We protect you guys because we don't enforce the consequences of your actions at the same rate and same level that we do on other men. I think a lot of women forget that because again, look at how people talk to each other on this panel. When you know that in real life that conversation would never be had this way in person, there wouldn't be any name calling, it wouldn't be in disrespect because the consequences of those things would be able to be applied directly to that person. Everybody has a, the restraint that we have tends because of the venue that we have this conversation in. So just remember that a lot of men protect women by our restraint and saying our ability to not want to do anything to you. And just understanding that sometimes, women are just weak willed and emotional and they just have temper tantrums.
And can I say
Okay.
something real quick, please?
Well, one
Real
second.
quick.
One second, guys.
I mean, just real quick, 2 seconds. I
No,
didn't mean
but
to jump in.
no, because your real quicks aren't really quick.
See, yours
So,
ain't either, but see how you do
so
it? You
yeah,
just
but I
can't
was
just
actually next
drop
in
it.
the
Go,
order,
go ahead,
Ella.
sweetheart. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So, so here, here's the thing, Miss Pearl. Would you mind clarifying the three words you said? You said wisdom, understanding, and there was a third word.
It was knowledge.
Knowledge. Okay. All right. So wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The response that Miss Savage gave to that was what I would consider to be awareness of your surroundings. Not necessarily what we understand as wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right. So, in my opinion, as I listened to her talk, it was a lot of her trying to veer from the words that were used, creating kind of a new definition for what she deemed wisdom to be, which I guess you could call spatial awareness, looking around, looking, "Oh, what's going on? Left turn, right turn, across the street." oh, ooh, there's a guy right there with a hoodie on. He got his hands in his pocket. Might be a pew pew. I guess that's wisdom. Or would that be like street smarts, right? So for me, like when I was listening to you talk, I didn't see the part that disagreed with what she said. I didn't hear the part of the argument that disagreed with the words that she actually used to describe what a woman can contribute to a relationship. And that is not to discredit what you explained as what a man can contribute. I did not see the disagreement. So you framed it as a disagreement. That's not how I took what you said at all. You were just kind of adding on some other things that a man may be able to contribute. So I think sometimes like when we are deep rooted in our like male centeredness, is important to kind of zoom out a little bit and understand like not everything has to be tied back to a man. And sometimes you can just give women their flowers and say that women are some wise. Women do teach children. They do have understanding and empathy. They're often the ones who are counseling. We are often in service roles. Like that's just a part of what we do, right? But anyways, or what we've been conditioned to do. I also think it's interesting that we're calling out name calling for what the women have said to the men, but you didn't call out the fact that Willie was calling women hyenas, Ayla. I think it's interesting that you only kind
All
of
right, can
pointed
I
out
can I respond to
the
that?
women saying, yeah, I know.
I'm a rebuttal
One second,
her
one
when
second,
she
one
Willie
second,
starts
one
doesn't
second,
to.
one
call
second.
women
My time is
hyenas. He
almost going to be
calls
Hold
done.
on,
women
hold on, y'all. Hold on,
It's
hold on,
almost
hold on,
gonna be
y'all. Hold on, y'all. Let's let Pretty finish, then Ella, then I come to you, Savage.
relax, friends.
Thank you.
Relax, guys. We've always been waiting our turn. Let's keep it cutesy. Anyway, so I do think it's interesting that you are saying, oh, Will, he said something that was
I
very
heard you.
succinct and very logical. However, he called women hyenas. That was name
I
calling.
heard you.
And
Okay.
what women said was, that was ridiculous. That did not make sense. We did not say, Willie, you are stupid. Willie, you do not make sense. That's not what was said. So I think when you're saying name calling, be specific about that.
Okay, you finished. It's like I was saying. He was describing a hyena and called it a hyena. He didn't refer to any of you guys as anything negative. You specifically referred to him and his perspective with derogatory terms. He described a person that I guess you
Like what?
personified with, but that's a choice. He
No,
didn't
like
call
what?
anything that. Hold on,
Let him finish. Let him
So
finish.
you talk, right? So, but that's neither here nor there. We all know what you're here to do. But back to the point, Bo, you brought up something that you brought up how basically the women's awareness get ignored, just like men's emotional intelligence. Just women always say that men are not emotionally intelligent, but our reality actually requires to do that more than you, because men can't afford to act up anywhere. We can't act up at work. We can't act up in the street. We can't act up at home. We can't act up in a place of business. Women can really act a fool in certain places. That's kind of like, I wouldn't say allowed, but kind of forgiven. But you often, and other women often, ignore the fact that men are so emotionally intelligent, but at the same time, we're required to be such. So all I'm just want to say is the same ignorance that you swear that men have for women, we can both play that tit for tat game all day long, because just like you swear that women are more aware than just what people expect, people say they are, we can say that for us, because men are very emotionally intelligent. We're not just this mean asshole guys. We can't afford to. We have to know how to talk to everybody, because we're on thin ice in society and in many realms of interaction. We don't really have that leash like that. So the same allowance you want from women, you have to have that for a man, for us to take you serious in these conversations. Well, for me.
Okay. There was so many points that were thrown at me, and even some that don't even belong to me. So I'm going to address the ones that don't belong to me first. I am not responsible. I have nothing to do with what Willie said. I answered Miss Pearl. You're absolutely right. I did not go against her point. I added to her point. I didn't want it to make it seem like, oh, women teach men these things. I said men are known for these things. And I gave examples of how he does these things. I never discredit the woman. I just made it out there that, oh, you might come with these things, but he has these things too. He's able to teach these things too. He's able to be these things so well that he can also polish a woman how to be these things better. I never said she didn't have. Your partner is supposed to enhance you. Your partner is supposed to polish you if he's capable of being so, but your discernment will decide that when you pick the person that you want to be with you. So when you're dealing with an alpha man, he gonna make you better. You ought to hope that he's more aware than you if you want to be on point times two. But if you got a man that's hindering you, then that says a lot about the simp that you chose. I never said a woman didn't have. I just said what also he can do.
That part.
Again, Mott taught me, he said, just let people talk. And a lot of times you don't even have to respond to the point. And with some of these conversations, when you see who, like I say that, people's boos don't matter to me when I see what they cheer for and who cheers for them. And it's just like we have the conversations, and Illa highlighted that Bo turned it into, something negative based on her experience. Everybody sees what PI is trying to do. And I just want to say I appreciate the fellas and the ladies on the panel for not falling into it this time. Like, and then for the guy, Illa, you seem to interact with her. I appreciate how you're doing it and staying in frame, because at the end of the day, we all understand what happens on this panel. And again, the rage bait, the I hate man feminist stuff that's going on. None of you guys are digging into it, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely not. Like I said, man, I love women. Like, what would life be without y'all? I like being around them. They ain't even got to talk. Not saying I don't want them to talk, but I like women's energy so much. You just make the vibe better. So the fact that we on these shows to try to find a way, not saying that we got a way, not saying that we got the answers, but to at least try to find a way to meet a respectful middle ground in dialogue, and for people to just sit and laugh like children. It's like, if your goal is to show the value of women, you're doing a horrible job, because you can't even show us how to have a conversation without childlike antics. It's like we're just talking. Like, we not. I would doubt that when you talk to people in real life while they're speaking, you just like, I don't think you would do that in real life. Like Willie said, why can't we speak the way we do offline or online? Like, I would not just laugh in somebody's face if I don't agree with them, if we just having a civil conversation. You know what I mean? I just think it's just the behavior undermines all the talking points. Like, if you can't just behave in the conversation, I don't care how smart you are, I don't care how intellectual you are, I don't care how sharp your points are, it really doesn't hit the same, because you don't even have the awareness to read the room, to just know that you're talking to grown-ass adults who you don't have to do anything theatrical with. You don't have to agree with us, but you don't have to patronize us and do all this silly shit either. Like, it's like, it just undermines everything that you might say, and always looking for the most negative aspect of women's treatment to bring to every conversation every week. It's just like, it just screams that you need a hug and you need some help. Like, every woman don't feel how you feel. Every woman don't feel this abyss of energy when men come around. Like, that's your personal experience, and you can't turn that into every woman. And it's really pathetic to hear that shit every week. Like, I'm sorry, it just is.